In Pakistan, a quiet crisis is unfolding. It's not happening in the streets or the markets, but inside classrooms and lecture halls. It's a crisis of relevance. Every year, thousands of students graduate with degrees, sometimes with top honors, only to discover that the real world speaks a language they were never taught. Meanwhile, employers are desperately searching for talent, not because there aren't enough graduates, but because so few possess the skills that actually matter. This is the great gap, the chasm between what our universities produce and what our economy needs. To understand this, we have to look back. Pakistan's higher education system was largely built on rigid, colonial models that prized rote memorization above all else. Decades later, many universities still operate as if they're preparing students for 19th century civil service exams, not 21st century tech startups. Lecturers are often one-way monologues. Critical thinking is rarely taught. Problem solving isn't assessed. And teamwork is often forgotten. Students are trained to chase grades, not understanding, to regurgitate facts, not to innovate. Think about an engineering student. They might spend 4 years mastering complex equations about circuits and machines, but never touch a real circuit board or operate a modern CNC machine. They graduate with a piece of paper, and then they're told to learn on the job. But here's the reality. Employers don't want to spend months training people from scratch. They want to hire talent that's ready to contribute from day one. While our education system has been standing still, the market has sprinted ahead. Globalization, automation, and the digital revolution have completely reshaped industries. Today, companies need people who can think critically and solve problems creatively. They need people who can communicate clearly, work in teams, and adapt quickly to new technologies. They need graduates who can manage projects, meet deadlines, and take initiative. These aren't just soft skills. In today's economy, they are survival skills. Yet, a staggering number of Pakistani graduates leave university without them. A 2023 survey by the Pakistan Business Council revealed that over 70% of employers struggle to find candidates with practical skills. Another report from the Higher Education Commission itself admitted that nearly half of all graduates are unemployable without significant retraining. This is true even in booming fields like IT. Companies complain that fresh computer science graduates can't write clean code, debug a program, or use basic version control systems. They've passed exams on algorithms, but they've never built a real app. They know the theory, but they lack the practice. So, why does this massive gap persist? There are several deep-seated reasons. First, our curricula are stagnant. What was taught in 2005 is often still being taught today. In fast-moving fields, like artificial intelligence or digital marketing, this is a recipe for disaster. Professors often teach what they learned decades ago, not what's happening in the industry right now. Second, there's a severe lack of collaboration between universities and industries. They operate in separate worlds. There are very few industry advisory boards, guest lectures from professionals, or joint research projects. Internships, which should be a bridge between these two worlds, are often optional or non-existent. Academics remain in their ivory towers, while businesses grapple with real-world challenges alone. Third, the system for training and incentivizing faculty is broken. Many professors have never worked a day in the private sector. Their career advancement depends on publishing research papers, not on the quality of their teaching or the success of their students in the job market. There's no reward for updating courses or connecting with employers, so naturally, few bother to do so. Fourth, our assessment methods reward memory, not mastery. Final exams are all about recalling information you crammed the night before. Students pass, and then they forget. There's very little emphasis on building portfolios, working on projects, or giving presentations. But employers don't care if you scored 85% on a theory paper. They care if you can deliver results. And finally, many universities, especially outside the major cities, suffer from a critical lack of resources. They don't have modern labs, well-stocked libraries, or reliable internet. How can you teach robotics without robots? How can you teach data analytics without the right software? Without proper investment, education becomes theoretical by default, not by choice. The human cost of this failure is devastating. We see it in the thousands of bright young graduates sitting at home, frustrated and underemployed. Many, despite holding bachelor's or even master's degrees, end up in low-paying jobs that have nothing to do with their field of study. Others feel they have no choice but to migrate abroad, taking their talent with them. This isn't just wasted potential. It's a colossal waste of investment. Families pour their life savings into tuition, hoping for a better future that never arrives. The state spends billions on an education system that yields a minimal return. And the most tragic part, the cycle perpetuates itself. Graduates who couldn't find meaningful jobs sometimes become teachers themselves, passing on the same outdated knowledge to the next generation. The system, in effect, reproduces its own failure. But it doesn't have to be this way. Fixing this deep-rooted problem won't be easy or quick, but it is possible if we are serious about it. The first step is to completely revamp our curricula with direct input from industry. Universities must create advisory boards with employers, co-design courses, and update them every 2 or 3 years. We need to teach what the market needs, not just what's easy to teach. Second, practical experience must become mandatory. Internships, apprenticeships, and final-year capstone projects should be a core part of every degree program. Every student should graduate with real-world experience on their resume, not just a transcript. Third, we must train our faculty for the real world. Professors should be encouraged, even required, to spend time in the industry. We need to create incentives that reward teaching innovation, project-based learning, and mentoring students for career success, not just academic publications. Fourth, we have to redesign how we assess students. Let's move away from memory-based exams and towards performance-based evaluations. Let students build apps, design marketing campaigns, manage budgets, and present their solutions to real problems. Let's grade them on their ability to execute, not just their ability to recite. Fifth, there needs to be a serious investment in infrastructure. The government and private sector must work together to fund modern labs, provide access to digital tools, and ensure high-speed internet is available at every campus. A student's location should not limit their education. And finally, we must foster a spirit of entrepreneurship and innovation within our universities. We should encourage students to start their own ventures and solve local problems. Our universities should be incubators for startups, not just factories for employees. Pakistan is at a crossroads. We can continue down this path, producing graduates who are brilliant on paper, but helpless in practice. Or, we can choose to rebuild our education system from the ground up, designing it around the needs of the modern economy. This isn't about blaming universities or employers. It's about recognizing that both sides must come together and change. Education must serve life, not just exams. A degree must signify competence, not just a credential. The market doesn't need more memorizers. It needs makers, thinkers, doers, and problem solvers. Our youth deserve nothing less than an education that prepares them for the world they are about to inherit, not the world of the past. It's time to close the gap before we let another generation get left behind. Thanks for watching. If this video resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content like this.